reasons why you are here today, other than a good lunch and fellowship, is to hear about the village and to hear about our concerns in the school district and our need. And we certainly have a very substantial need in our district, and that is to upgrade our facilities. And I say in our district, but as I first mentioned, it's really for our community. We certainly want these things for our students and for our teachers, but very much so, I believe this, and I know the school board believes this, that this is a community effort, not just a school district effort. What we're talking about, again, is school facilities, and it's one thing that I believe you probably are aware of if you live in North Little Rock or work in North Little Rock. You drive by our schools, and you probably notice that they are not new facilities. In fact, two of our schools, the main campus, were built in the 1920s. 8 were built in the 1950s, and 11 of them were built in the 1960s. And our newest facilities were actually built in 1969, which at the time was Northeast High School and Rose City Junior High at the time. So those are again, old buildings by any standards. I have a few slides that we will try and go through. One of which is to indicate just the age of, as I said, we already know. But if you look to the right on this, and probably the further back, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a red line about the middle of this, and that represents a 50-year-old building. That's generally the normal lifespan of a facility. And all of our levels, elementary and high school and middle school, are either at or above that 50-year mark. That doesn't mean walls are going to fall in all of the buildings at 50 years, but it does mean that there is a potential of major problems occurring at that time as far as the facility is concerned. And also we know very well that over a 50-year period there are many, many changes in the education and how the education is delivered. Things such as technology certainly didn't exist when most of these buildings were built, at least not to the level today. And it's very difficult to adapt technology in a building that was built in the 1920s, 50s, or even the 60s. Also, educational standards have changed over the years as to what size the classroom space should be and what spaces you should have in facilities. And so it's very difficult to adapt old buildings. But again, this is something that we know in the district, but also this slide does show a little bit. If you look to the left, Cabot and Conway, we probably should have added Benton and Bryant to this as far as school facilities, because all 4 of those communities have had village increases and are building new schools. And so, as I say, this is a community effort. When people make decisions moving to the Pulaski County area, where do I want to live, one of the things that they are influenced by is what the school facilities look like, because that's mostly what people see or know about schools is as they drive by them. So when your Benton, Bryant's, Cabots, and Conways are all having new facilities, it's very much up to us to be progressive and to go ahead and construct our facilities to match. The plan has many, many, many components, and it's a very thick booklet that we have of reasons why and how we went about this. But everything surrounds around two primary goals for our long-range facility plan. One is to improve educational opportunities for all students, no matter what grade level, what part of town they live in, that everybody would have equal access to educational facilities that other students in the state have. But also surrounding that, and probably as importantly, is that we wanted to be fiscally responsible to our taxpayers, because we knew we would have to be asking for an additional amount of money from taxpayers, and so we wanted to know for ourselves that we were going to be a more efficient operation and that we're actually going to be able to offer a better product. We ask because all of our facilities are old, and it's kind of hard to visualize what we're talking about, for the architects to give us just at least something that we can show people that, you know, here's basically what this could look like on initial drawings, so that people will have a perspective. And so this would be the 9 elementary schools. They would be kindergarten through 5, and 3 of them, 5 of them would be pre-K through 5. Again, all either new construction or remodeled to new. Every student would go to the same middle school, grades 6 through 8, which is currently at the East Campus and Lakewood Complex. If you can see this, you can find the bullseye to the right. That's the target score, so that puts it in perspective of where it is. Be about 2,100 students on that campus, which is very close to what we have up there now, but we have that in grades 7, 8, and 9 and 10. That's interesting to me. I spent 15 years working on that campus, exactly how that construction is going to take place while school is also going on. But people who construct buildings such as Bobby Gosper tell me that can happen all the time. And then the high school complex, every student in the school district will go to the same high school, grades 9 through 12. It's located on the main campus, located now at 22nd Street. The main building would remain, but the other buildings, for the most part, will be replaced. The football stadium, where it currently is, would move a little bit to the north where the practice field is. And the area where the football field is now up to the existing building would be where the new construction would take place. 28 to 3,000 students would be the planned number of students in that complex. And sometimes when we use those numbers of 2,000 and 3,000, it bothers people. They think that's a lot of kids in one place, but the way the school buildings are constructed nowadays, you tend to build them in smaller groupings, smaller pods of maybe 300 students, so that all 2,100 or 3,000 are out at the same time.
It's a complete overhaul of every school within this district. So that means every child gets to benefit, every teacher gets to benefit. The same goes for our community. If you look at what this plan does, it's 13 essentially new facilities, both brand new construction and renovation. That's all the way from Pike to Protho, up to North Hills, across JK, down to Camp Robinson. So every part of this community gets to benefit, gets a new facility that they can be take a lot of pride in. And as Mr. Percival just said, if done correctly and proper design, we'll get an opportunity to use those for community events and much more than just our schools. Number two, staying competitive. With our school district, a lot of us, we think it's a public institution. Maybe there's not a lot of competition. But that's not the case at all. We compete for students. We compete for families. We want to have the best and the brightest. In order to do that, we have to stay on top of the competitive landscape. What this does is puts us as the primary alternative for Central Arkansas. I have no doubts about it. There's a lot of different options available now, much more than were in the past. Private school, charter schools, other public schools. What this plan does, it gives us brand new facilities, greater access to technology, greater access to new curriculum that we might not have had an opportunity to do, and that is an offering that other schools don't have. With staying competitive, that also means that we can bring families, young families, to this community. I think it increases the demand for wanting to be here. In the long run, I think that certainly gives a positive impact on our property values, economic impact, and just a long-term stronger community. Finally, the economic impact. Now, this is some numbers that we have, in working with the consultants, there's a very widely used study done by Rutgers University, and it's based on brand new school construction and the economic impact to the local community. When we take that model and take those multipliers and put in our project, the outcome was pretty astounding. Almost $100 million in personal income generated, close to a little over 1.4 billion in total economic impact. That's basically gross product generated, and over 1,800 jobs created. I know that we've had a lot of really progressive projects over the last several years. Verizon Marina, Dickey Stevens, but we've never had a project that's this widespread that covers this entire city that has this much impact. Essentially, for me, what it comes down to is a cost-benefit analysis. We are not naive to the fact that what we're asking this community to do, it's certainly an increase in cost, but it's a cost that will pay off multiple times over. I really believe that. And what we're asking you to do on the 14th is essentially go make an investment in this community, and I think it's something that you'll be very happy to get. So thank you for the time. I'll give it back to Ken.